Welcome to the pew.
Welcome to the pew. I never got that shit. Okay.
We were talking about the future.
Yes.
And how we predicted so many aspects of it.
Yes. Almost like we're geniuses or something.
Oh, yeah. Almost like we're geniuses, but not.
You're the Clubland's Nostradamus.
Or Nostragoofuses.
So, yeah, one of Julie.
Well, one of the funny things that is just that who could have thought this back in the Project X era, like that was in the mid-90s. I wrote this article for the magazine about how people would be so vain that in the future you'd be able to push a button on your computer and then your computer screen would turn from the computer screen into a mirror. Because I remember when I was in the office, I saw Julie Jules across the room looking like she was just like furiously working on something. And then when I walked over to ask her something, it turns out there was this big mirror in front of her computer screen. All she was doing was like looking at her makeup to make sure that it was perfect. So we wrote an article about how you could push a button and it would turn into a mirror. Well, now you don't need to do that because we all have webcams and you can see your reflection. Yep.
Yep.
So
I'm always looking
predicted it.
Sitting there looking at FaceTime. And the Club Quick in 1989, which Rudolph opened, was a prediction that in the future trends would happen much faster. That there would be an acceleration of these things, and that it would be the end of the underground, the end of keeping things a secret, because there would be instant assimilation of when an idea forms in New York City, for instance, it would be assimilated instantly by thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, and then so nothing could be cool anymore.
Yeah, so those were shots of Quick that you just saw while Michael was talking.
And the invitation, the opening invitation.
Yep.
And that has sort of come true too.
And it came true because the club literally lasted like 6 months. It really didn't last very long.
In fact, the window from the time a club opens to the time a club is discovered by the masses kept shrinking. It took 3 years for them to find out. Palladium 2 years, then Tunnel 6 months, and then Mars 2 months. And by the time you got to Quick, he made it open to the masses like the very first day. So it was over like that, quick.
But then, didn't panty girdles happen at Quick?
It did, but I mean, it really had a very end game feel to it. It was like
a desperate ploy.
It was
to wring one last drop of fabulousness out of the club.
I knew that. I hoped that wasn't possible, and I thought that we could get another cycle, because these things happen in cycles, where Clubland is fabulous and it's not, and it's fabulous and it's not, and but Rudolph said that was the end of the cycles, and so I thought we could get another go out of it, and we did.
So and now these days with Instagram and photographs on your cell phone, there's no keeping anything a secret.
Yeah.
So if you have a secret, you should keep it
to yourself.
We'll be back.
Bye.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Cause I look fucking cool!
Welcome back to the pew!
Welcome back!
Welcome back to the pew! And we have something.
We forgot one last example about how we predicted the future
how,
and how nothing is a secret, trendy, fabulous thing any longer.
Yes, how that's instantly assimilated.
Right, and that example is flashing on your screen now. What is it? EDM at Target.
Fashionable rave wear.
Right next to women's bras.
At Target.
Big, flashy shirts for $9.95.
$9.95, top line. Okay, so what was it about? Alicia Delgado wants to know what it was about Andy Warhol that I admired, and why did I want to be just like him?
Some would argue you were already painting just like him.
Yes, some would argue that, and they would be wrong. What was it about Andy Warhol? I think that's just almost an impossible question to answer. I mean,
See, I never felt like I wanted to be
Yeah.
like Andy Warhol, and I didn't think that I could be like Andy Warhol
Right.
because Andy Warhol is
Was
on
Andy
some
Warhol.
kind of astral plane.
And
that I
there's
could
only
never
one Andy Warhol.
reach. Right.
And I never wanted to be Andy Warhol. But
No, me
what I
neither.
wanted to be was originally what I wanted to be was one of his superstars. And so that's why I was courting him and sort of, waiting on him hand and foot at the fashion show and the last show that he did before he died at Tunnel. And
That's why I immediately started using drugs after reading Edie and Andy Warhol books because,
It was
rather than them being cautionary tales about not doing it, I just wanted to do it so that I could be just like one of the Warhol superstars.
Right. And so then when he died, the media just started calling me the heir to the Warhol scene, the club kids, the heir to the Warhol scene. And so I just said, well, that's what we are, then
You
that's
just
what we are.
reluctantly accepted that.
No, I didn't
Have you
reluctantly
heard
accept. I accepted it with gusto because
With grace and modesty.
yes. No, but because now that they said it, it sort of makes sense because what we were was an updated version of his factory. Whereas and it's funny because I saw Penny Arcade the other day, who was an actual Warhol superstar, and she said,
But don't call her that because she hates
no,
it.
she's right. But she
And Michael did call her that to her face.
she doesn't hate it.
Okay.
But she would, I think, rather be known for other things because she's doing a lot of other things. But anyway, she talked about how she would see us at the clubs with her other Warhol friends, and they looked at us with just hatred and jealousy because we were young and doing what they were doing, but we were getting paid for it. And so that's what the difference was. We kind of took it up to date. We updated the Warhol thing and massified it.
Now, John Sheffield wants to know, he's curious about what your experience adjusting to the world has been like since your release, especially with the technology thing. Now, there have been, and his question is, are all these things jarring for you? And I would say yes, because there have been times...
All these things, what for me?
Jarring.
Oh,
for
jarring.
you. And I would say yes, because there have been literally times that Michael has broken and down in tears while trying to use a cell phone.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. It's not while trying to use a cell phone. I know how to use a cell phone for crying out
You've
loud.
cried in the back of my
Crying out loud.
You've cried in the back of my car while using a cell phone trying to figure it out.
Not trying to figure out how to use a cell phone. I know how to use a cell phone. There might have been some kind of app on the cell phone that was giving me trouble, or somebody giving me trouble for not being able to use the app that was causing the emotional breakdown.
Well, not in my car, because that's a safe space.
Uh-huh. Like last night? That kind of safe space?
Let's not get into
what happened last time.
Let's not get into the tears
On the way
and
to
crying.
the Kayvon party?
More about that next time. Bye.
Bye.